Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Tuesday, the 3rd of August, 2021. Remember, I always tell you to share our live stream on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Facebook, TT Real Talk on YouTube. So viewers, just a little reminder, remember those of you that are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me. Those of you who have properties to sell or looking for property to buy, those of you who lend your friends and your family your hard-earned cash and you cannot get it back, feel free to contact us, viewers. 339-1670 or 238-6716. So I want to say a special good night to those of you that are locked on to Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Synergy Television. Those of you up the Caribbean, those of you around the globe, those of you on Facebook and YouTube, a special good night to you. Remember, viewers, Real Talk Investment presently is paying the highest percentage rate in Trinidad and Tobago. That is 3.5%. So if you want to make an investment, you're looking for the proper investment to make, you can contact us at 339-1670 or 238-6716 for information concerning Real Talk Investment. Now it's like a fixed deposit, yes, but it is an investment you all will be making. And currently we are paying the highest rate of 3.5%. So it's starting off at 3%, 1 year, 2 years, 3.25, 3 years, 3.5%, and we're going on. So it is up to you now, the viewers, to select what different package you need, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and we will arrange the percentage, the return on your investment right now. Right now. A lot of credit unions, managers, a lot of bank managers have been calling, Saeed, what you doing, Saeed? And you know what I told them? I said, you run your business to suit you, and I will run my business to suit me. That is what I told them. You run your house, I will run my house. At the end of the day, Real Talk is a registered business in Trinidad and Tobago. Registered. We do everything by the books. And I have also built a track record in Trinidad and Tobago where we push for amendment, we push for laws, and we tell the attorney why we need it. And he pays close attention to what I'm saying. Why we need certain laws, why we need certain amendments. He go to the parliament, he amend what he have to amend, he debate what he have to debate, and we just get it. So very soon, by tomorrow, viewers, just a little reminder, but I will remind you as the show goes along too. Tomorrow, I will be getting my constitution, which is the bylaws that govern Real Talk Credit Union. So that is a plus for us. That is a plus for us. So very soon, Real Talk Credit Union will be voted right here in Trinidad and Tobago. But later on, we'll talk about that. We have a caller. Good night.
Good night, Saeed.
My friend, go right ahead.
I want to thank you for doing that for the credit union. I see one of them big banks make $1 billion in profit. You have to share, and the small man in Trinidad have to share in some of that profit. So God bless you, and I hope you succeed. And I believe I will come down with my bag of money. All right, let me turn it up. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
I am so happy the way our athletes are performing. They are not in the 1, 2, 3,
mm-hmm.
and they are not going to win any gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
So they will not confuse the people in Tokyo about which national anthem they are to play. If we win the gold medal and we go confuse them up there, we win the third fall from the love of liberty, or we go play, what they call them? Together we achieve this and that. We go confused. So let me not embarrass ourselves. Right. The other thing is, we're talking real thing now, national security. I see they get 64 million in cocaine and marijuana, and the whole man in a vehicle moving up. So I want to know what kind of intelligence we have. We have intelligence working in a reverse or what? They should have hold those people before they come on shore. You understand? That is the way we have to do it. So They make the man come. Suppose that was diversionary traffic. They put a little bit in that car and they bond that all the rest of money and all the rest of marijuana in a warehouse to distribute it after. What do you think about that? That is intelligence. You're supposed to hold that. It looked like the Pump City Rasta didn't get the helicopter to fly around the coastline and he didn't get the boats to move to catch them because I laugh at them. I say, what kind of police we have? You holding them moving in south when them outsmart you and them moving north and then moving through the bushes with the goatee and distributing it. All right, the other thing, it have a fella. He named Ramesla and he applied for the COP position. You hear him? You hear what he say? He say he accepted 3 charges by a tribunal and he accepted that, so he go still get promotion. How could you put a man like that who doesn't understand what is justice? He looked like he considered himself before country. So how you could put a man so? Suppose they have given the position in the political direct, going to pull the puppet string on him and say, fella, why you do this? And I'm making him Minister of National Security. He's a waste of time. They lick him up and tell him, go to the back of the class. Not him. And I will come back another time later in the program to tell you about the vaccine vagrant boy.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, as we start up our program tonight, the U.S. government have stated that it has donated a total of 111 million COVID-19 vaccine to 65 countries to date. In a press release on Tuesday, U.S. President Joe Biden stated that it was a major milestone that cements the U.S. as a global leader in COVID-19 vaccine donation. According to the UN, this is more than the donation of all other countries combined and reflects the generosity of the American spirit. In June, the U.S. government announced a plan of global donation of 80 million doses. Of the 65 countries, Haiti is the only Caribbean country, the CARICOM country, to receive a donation thus far. Caller, good night.
Good night. Good night. Mr. Sadiq.
My friend.
You have been doing a very, very good work in this country of Trinidad and Tobago. You're all people. You are very encouraging, but I want to say one thing tonight. The UNC not the answer for this country. The PLM didn't have the answer for this country, and the country will keep going down 100 miles per hour. I want everybody to know tonight, Jesus Christ is the answer, the way, the truth, and the life. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, my friend. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar have stated that the current lockdown measures are not working and a new approach is needed. In a press release issued today, Persad-Bissessar stated that there is no scientific data that support what she calls a draconian lockdown. Persad-Bissessar also added that what is alarming is that the government's plan to vaccinate, to operate, is now turning into vaccinate or else stay locked down. That is according to the opposition leader. She again called on the government to end this lockdown so that persons can get back to earning income and generating revenues. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I like to explain some. I like to say something, right? Prime Minister Rowley say that he not opened up any bars because of the congregation, right? So he also said that you can go and buy groceries and buy alcohol and take it home and drink. Now, when you bring your partners home to drink now, you're going to send guys to arrest, right? This government have no intention of opening up the bars. They're trying to get rid of the industry one time. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So now viewers, do you agree with the opposition leader, Kamla Prasad Bisesa? End the lockdown so persons can get back to earning salaries and generate revenue for Trinidad and Tobago. Do you believe that? Caller, good night.
Saeed, good night.
Good night, my friend. Go right ahead.
I want to give you some information what's happening with the Piaku Airport taxis at the moment.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Since the lockdown, the airport taxi went out of business. When the Prime Minister decided to reopen the borders, we had applied for curfew passes for the taxi operators at the Piaku Airport.
Okay.
These are the taxis who run from the airport to all parts of Trinidad.
Yes, yes.
What has happened, sir, is that the flights started coming late in the night now. As of today, the Commissioner Office has not released any curfew pass for the airport taxi drivers, and we don't know what is the reason. All we are told is to call the command center, and when you call one the number 480-2000, it's just ringing, nobody answer.
Okay.
And this is unfair to the taxi. This is about the fourth state emergency we have in Trinidad, and we never had problem from any commissioner office, you know. I don't know what is the problem. I want the commissioner or the Prime Minister to take heed of this problem we are having at the Piaku International Airport. For passengers late in the night. Thank you so much.
So hold on. So presently you all do not have a curfew pass to operate your taxi from the airport to and from?
No, sir, not that. All they told us to do is to call command center.
Wow.
So if a passenger hustles to go when they come to go to their home, and you are the driver, have to remember to call the command center, otherwise the police will lock him out on when they find him.
Okay, so when you call the command center, what is the response from the command center if you do get through to them?
Most times they ask you for your name and your number, and your vehicle and where you're going and etc. But normally, yeah, okay, I'll listen to you.
What do they require?
We give them all the requirements as we normally do to get curfew pass from previous administration of Commissioner of Police.
So presently, this Commissioner of Police, this command center is not releasing passes to you all, being the taxi driver that works during the night?
No, not to my knowledge.
Wow. Well, I will look into it and see what's best we could do, my friend.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome, you're welcome. That's sad, boy. When you're playing land in Trinidad, and you decide to take a taxi to drop to the airport. No taxi, no passes. So presently you are stuck at the airport. You can't go anywhere. Wow. So I guess the Commissioner or the Ministry of National Security or the Foreign Affairs Minister, they need to look into that because you live in a stain. Because when you hear individual fly into Trinidad and no transport to go to a hotel, that's bad news because when they contact the embassy back in the other country and they tell them, well, hey, we in Trinidad, but apparently there's no taxi service. You stink up with name right there in transport from the airport to the hotel. And then when you call in the hotel now and you call for a taxi service to go to the airport, nothing. So there's a state on tourism right there. Where's the tourism minister? I'll look into it. So viewers, do you support the call for Kamla Prasad Bisesa to end the lockdown so citizens of Trinidad and Tobago could go back to work to generate revenue in Trinidad and Tobago? Caller, good night.
Good night, Said.
My friend.
What has this lockdown really achieved? Has it achieved anything at all?
To me, nothing.
Look at the previous caller. You open back airport and travel. You have no taxi man to transport them. What kind of foolishness? You know, I want to touch a little on this vaccine hesitancy. You know what? One of the reasons why people not going for this vaccine is because they don't trust nothing this government say or do.
True.
Nothing they say. Right now, people don't know whether Rowley had COVID before. People are saying they don't not sure if that is saline he took or if it is water he took. You know, there is so much distrust in this government that people cannot believe nothing. Now, the other point I want to make, you're talking about school going to open in September, you want to open. But yet the retail outlets, you know, all these stores and wherever, where the single mothers and parents work. It is closed. Where would they get money? You know, this government, what is it they're doing? Is it they think everybody's their supporters and very foolish? Now look again. Look, I don't want to say, but it appears to me as naked racism. You come on Indian arrival day. You had curfew, you had lockdown for 24 hours. Or how much hours? You had Emancipation Day. The situation is the same. Same thing. People are dying. People getting infected. So what happened in Emancipation Day? Nobody wouldn't get infected. You know, this is what, you know, it is reflected on this man. Apparently, he does not know what is he doing. Are you telling me about science? Now you tell me about Sinopharm. What about these people that want to go to Canada and all this stuff that does not recognize, which means, or they have business to do this, to bring it Sinopharm? Why, you know, $18-19 billion passed through their hands. Why can't they have, you know, vaccine of a certain type, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson, and so whatever it is, so people, you know, people might be a little more willing to accept either one of our choice, but no, you all want to take things and push it down people's throat. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Now, one thing I had to tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, keep this in mind. The government knew that they were going to take a loan from China. And the government knew that they were going to purchase Sinopharm vaccine from China. I want to let you understand that. That was not yesterday in the making. Understand that. So all the talk they talk about African medical, like getting vaccine from them, they're talking about the US vaccine. They talk about India vaccine. Let me tell you something. While they were talking about that on platform, they were negotiating to get a loan from China. So that did not just happen overnight. I want to let you understand something. Did the government had any intentions of purchasing vaccine anywhere outside of China? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that employers who ask unvaccinated staff to take the vaccine or pay for PCR COVID tests are making decisions based on their responsibility to the population. This after some well-established business have made COVID-19 vaccine mandatory for staff. Others have informed unvaccinated staff to take the PCR test often at their own expense. Now, which retail sector or business in Trinidad and Tobago, we talk about the lower businesses, the retail sector, that pays their worker over $1,100 per week. And if you have to do that twice for the month, how much are you paying them to carry home? As one, continuing. The PM was responding to a question on how he felt about employers' treatment of unvaccinated staff. Let me tell you something, they shouldn't even ask the Prime Minister that. You know why? Because the Prime Minister, together with the President, said all unvaccinated employees or detailed security members don't come around me. Am I right or am I wrong? You be the judge. Your husband, your son, your daughter could have been a security detail for the President or the Prime Minister, and presently they would be out of that league. Continuing, he added that employers who are making that request of the staff also have a responsibility to the rest of the population. Good. However, the PM stated that there are restrictions on rights and your personal behaviors.
Well, my view is that we all have our problems. The employers who are making those requests of the staff, they have a responsibility, not just to the rest of the staff, but to the rest of the population. And basically what that policy you're saying there is doing is asking people to assure others that they are not carrying the virus and posing a threat to persons who have exercised their rights in a different way. It's being discussed in the context of your right and your person. But I'm sure by now you all know that we have always had restrictions on rights and your personal behavior.
So now I want to ask you, from the president comes straight down to the employees, the complete administration that governs Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM, the UNC, the police administration, the police, the commissioner, everybody I want to ask, including the medical team. What do we have in place? Or is there anything in Trinidad or around the world to stop the spread of COVID-19 virus? Epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines came out on a medical briefing and said to the population of Trinidad and Tobago, even though you take your COVID-19 vaccine, that does not prevent you from getting infected with the COVID-19 virus. So why the hell now we have in Trinidad and Tobago a discrimination that is brewing between the unvaccinated and the vaccinated, when the vaccinated individual could catch COVID-19 and still spread the bloody hell thing, and the unvaccinated people could get the COVID-19 and still spread the bloody hell thing? So when we have Dr. Avery Hines coming out and telling the population, telling the president, telling the prime minister, telling security, telling businessmen, telling the health sector that if you take the COVID-19 vaccine, you are still getting COVID-19. So if you're still getting COVID-19, which means you could still spread the bloody hell virus. So if you don't take the COVID-19 vaccine and you catch COVID-19 virus, or coronavirus as they say if you take the vaccine, it would prevent you from being hospitalized. If you don't take the COVID-19 vaccine and you get COVID-19, you could be hospitalized. So I want to ask now the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to ask the medical fraternity of Trinidad and Tobago, when they was telling people, when you test positive for COVID-19, stay home in your house and isolate yourself. What did it have now? What measures was in place to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the bloody hell house that you was in? So all these business people who feel they have the world of bloody hell brains and pushing a discrimination between staff, unvaccinated and vaccinated. Let me tell you something. Your bloody hell staff who get the COVID-19 vaccine could still get COVID if not stopping them. Let's talk now. Let's talk now. Let me tell you something. You see the brains all you have? Instead of all you use the brains all you have on top of your shoulder, all you taking all your brains and putting it underneath all your foot and all you walking with it. All you considering all yourselves, duncy head, businessmen and women in Trinidad and Tobago. I am telling you that. I, Saieed, I'm saying it. You know why? I am a businessman, just like the business sector in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what I found out? You know what I found out from Dr. Avery Hines? I put in every single one of the business people to shame. When you get the COVID-19 vaccine, my dear brothers and sisters, as businessmen and women, when you get the COVID-19 vaccine, you could still get COVID-19 virus. Let me tell you something. You know what all you're pushing? All you're pushing an agenda in Trinidad and Tobago to divide. To divide. That is what all you're doing. And I will not stand here being a businessman, and roll with the business fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago. But you know why I wouldn't do that? You know why I wouldn't do that? Because what you're supposed to have in your head, the common sense, you put it under your foot and you're walking with it. If Dr. Avery Hines could come out and tell the citizens, and tell the businessman, and tell the prime minister, and tell the president, and tell the medical fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago that the COVID-19 vaccine is not stopping you from getting COVID-19 virus, well then, my brothers and sisters, you are using your position as a businessman to show Trinidad and Tobago how illiterate you are. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
So, Paul, let me congratulate you on your accomplishment for the credit union. Can't wait.
Thank you.
Considering this situation with the employee and employer, the president was set by the president and prime minister of this country.
Thank you, by the leaders.
Exactly. It was set there, so it's a rippling effect, and it's coming all the way down. And this is happening through their lies, and it's also happening through their fault. They don't even have transparency, so this is what's causing all this. If they were transparent with the public, with the citizens of this country, we would not have to be going through this. Of course, if you take the vaccine, you're still going to get the COVID. You're still likely to get it. But what about the Delta? The vaccine we took, would that cover us for Delta? The smoke is here, but the fire is still behind. Another thing is, the Prime Minister is saying that some people, about 600 or 6,000, are immune to the virus. I want to know if he's one of them.
And I want to believe he's talking about the little children, because they're not vaccinated.
Yes. Where this man is so illiterate, and the whole entire government is so illiterate that they can't even see further than where they see it in front of them. A guy went to Mount Hope with his girlfriend. She couldn't breathe. And he had to fight off the security officers. And I can tell you firsthand from experience, security officers at Mount Hope Hospital just treat you like dogs. Because they thought that she had COVID. That's why they wasn't going to attend to her. They sent them to the tent. So every time you go to the hospital, is it COVID?
Everything.
And this is what they are doing. They are making the public panic.
Correct.
They're putting us in a state of panic. It's only riot. We ain't riot yet.
Thank you, my dear. So if you get onto the thing. So viewers, Dr. Rowley also added that the Ministry of Health will be focusing its attention on vaccinating as many persons in the retail sector as possible so that the sector can reopen. He called on caretakers, gardeners, hairdressers, and masseuses to get vaccinated so that personal service sector can reopen in about 2 weeks. Now let me tell you something, you see? And I'm saying this without any fear or anything, You see, when you hear you want to come and you hear where you want to drive a wedge on one side and make sure that wedge works and make sure that you're commanding something, to get a return on the side is a serious thing, you know. It's a serious thing, you know. Because when you hear a man like me standing up here, let me tell you something. Put on a helmet to battle, you know. Because nonsense is something I ain't taking, you know. Foolishness is something I ain't taking, you know. That is what I ain't taking. And I ain't passing it down to the people. You know why? Because the people dependent now. They're dependent now on Real Talk to come on a platform and feed them with the correct information. They want to listen to the correct information. They don't want to be misled. They want the correct information. And when we have a man like our health minister telling you, the citizens of Trinidad, the average citizens of Trinidad and Tobago don't even know how to wear a mask. My 10-year-old son knows how to put on a mask proper. But you talking about the average? Which is the average? Which is the average? Huh? Let me tell you something. All don't get tied up in the citizens. So hear this now. Hear this. I tell you, I went through great measures, you know. Listen to this. MP Dr. Rudal Munilal have stated that there is a risk that some of the 800,000 Chinese Sinopharm vaccine can expire given the vaccine hesitancy. Munilal stated that the government have been trying to get stakeholders involved to distribute the vaccine. He said, rather than bringing in 800,000 shots all at once, the government should have brought in batch by batch. Now, I went through great length. So we have on the line tonight MP for the opposition, the UNC opposition, Dr. Rudal Munilal, present on the line. Good night, sir.
Hi, good night. Good to you and all your listeners and viewers across Trinidad and Tobago and of course outside of Trinidad and Tobago. Good night.
I do want to thank you for taking the time to join us. I know you are presently busy at the moment where you are, but thank you so much. Now,
what happened, and just say that a very tragic event in the constituency. One of our great supporters and brothers, Ruston Haraxing, passed away, and we actually by the family house for a little while. Very sad, of course, from complications arising out of COVID, and I wanted to extend condolences to the family and friends of a great supporter and soldier in the Orapuchi constituency, Roxanne. Very young, of course, at the age of 49, so it's a shock, and we are with it, so our condolences and our prayers are with the family and friends.
Accept our condolences to the family, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr.
So, what are your thoughts on the TNT's vaccination program thus far in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the problem here is that the government started extremely late. They made cardinal errors and spectacular failures in terms of procuring vaccines. We were warning since last year, November, that they needed to move with haste to leverage our political and diplomatic position to secure vaccines. Did not. They put all their eggs in one basket, and they were in a contractual arrangement with China for the Sinopharm vaccines. When that did happen, to update the story, they brought in too much vaccines at the same time and did not have the capacity to dispense those vaccines, to administer vaccines. And now there's a real risk, as we understand, that some of those vaccines will expire. Yesterday, I could tell you both at the Diwali Nagar and at the Sapa in San Fernando, they were giving out the vaccines, but the people themselves were not turning up. And we were begging people, including myself, begging people to go and take the vaccines, and the turnout was not very good. So we have this crisis on our hands where some of the vaccines may expire, and they will have to actually give it away or to throw it away, to dump it. But that is because of the stupidity of bringing in 800,000 vaccines in one shipment. What they should have done is brought in 100,000 or 200,000, as the case may be, slowly. And as you administer, you get more and more and more. but these vaccines they brought in bulk that they cannot distribute. They don't have the capacity, and the taxpayers paying for it. So it is a crisis that the government faces at this time.
Now, Mr. Minister, given that there is still vaccine hesitance in Trinidad and Tobago,
Sure.
do you think the government will soon have in their hand expired Sinopharm vaccine?
It is a problem. Look, let us be honest. This is not 1955 and 65 and so on.
True.
We are in 2021. The average person is reading the news. They have social media.
Yes.
They follow international news more than they did before. In the 70s and 80s and so on, people never knew what is happening abroad.
True.
You had to wait 21 days for a newspaper to arrive and read the newspaper. Today, instantly, you know what is happening in the whole world.
Yeah.
And my whole politics is I don't play around the bush. I don't beat around the bush. I say it as I see it. The world knows that there were high quality vaccines such as Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson and so on. The government, for whatever reason, could not procure those vaccines. They procured a vaccine which quality was lower, efficacy level was lower, but having said that, that is a vaccine. It was approved by the World Health Organization. So to put it in the Olympic sense, we are going through the Olympic Games now. The government procured a bronze medal vaccine for a population that are accustomed with gold medals. This is a country where if you have a party, everybody wants a VIP ticket. They don't want general admission. They want VIP. So what happened is that the people read. They are not dumb. They are not stupid. They know if you open this country and you say you have Pfizer vaccines to give away, more people will come out because they have a sense that there's a higher quality vaccine. The government chose not to get that. They turned down an offer for 351,000 vaccines, Pfizer vaccines in February 17. They got the Sinopharm vaccine. Having said that, it might be the bronze medal of vaccines, but you still have to take it because it is a vaccine. It is approved by the World Health Organization. So the government is the creator of their own vaccine hesitancy because they choose to reject the highest quality vaccine in the world to get the second or third level vaccine. Having said that, it is a vaccine, you have to take it. So I call upon people. I have made commercials and ads calling upon people to take the vaccine that is available because you may have to take a third dose or a booster shot, as we say, but at least you might be alive to take a booster shot and not dead. So we call upon people to take the vaccine that is available, but the government is the creator of their own vaccine hesitancy, pussyfooting over the procurement of vaccine, and when they did get vaccines, they go on and procure too much overnight, and you will have expired vaccines and so on. But this is their own making. Dr. Rowley, who said he didn't need the opposition help, he doesn't need anybody help. Now he begging me to pick up people on my back and carry them for vaccine.
Now, Mr. Minister, I have one question to ask.
Sure.
This might sound like a kind of personal question, yes, but I want the public to understand. Do you think the present administration, do you think that they started to procure vaccine too late in the pandemic?
My friend, I want to tell you something and we must put it on the record. They procured vaccine when people were dead. We have listen, I mean, I don't want to be an alarmist. I don't like doing those things. But at the rate we are going, given the infection rate, and given the fact that they are not curing COVID, they are not curing COVID, the death rate will go to 2,000, maybe 2,500 before we get this thing under control because they waited forever to get vaccines. Vaccines should have been procured in January, arriving by February, March, and by May, I think by April, May, you should have had 50% of the population with 2 doses. Today, unless I'm mistaken, only 13% of the population have 2 doses, and maybe 50% have 1 dose. So when they give figures, if you notice, they are telling you figures in absolute numbers, but they are not telling you by percentage.
True.
It's like India. I mean, India, of course, we follow the news. If India announced 40 million people got a vaccine, that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. They have 1.4 billion people.
True.
So in Trinidad and Tobago, you telling us 181,000 people have vaccine means nothing.
Correct.
That means absolutely nothing. You have to tell us it's 15% have 2 doses.
Yes.
And also tell us, you know, in this country now, the people who are running this health sector, I think Dr. Gopi Singh pointed it out, They have absolutely no data, no research, nothing. Tell us how many people go into the ICU,
Yes,
as our
yes,
colleague from Debe Pinal. Tell us how many people go into ICU and die. That's how much go into HDU and die. They have absolutely no clue. They have no data. They have no research. Absolutely nothing. So when you get COVID today, well, my brother, if you survive, thank God. But more likely than not, if you end up in ICU, you're dead. And that is the problem we face. And when we attack them on this matter, they say we condemn public officers and condemning public health people. But they have no data. They have people appearing on TV every Saturday. I mean, in fact, in this country now, the press conference is mandatory.
Yes.
Every Saturday they appear talking a set of rubbish. And if you ask them, could you tell us how many people have gone to ICU and survived? They do not want to tell you. Exactly. They do not want to tell you. How many people have gone to the high dependency unit and survived? They don't want to tell you. But they're collecting data. They're collecting data, and you know absolutely nothing. But this country is in a mess with the COVID. The state of emergency, as I think Jolene John has been saying repeatedly, the state of emergency has not worked. The lockdown of the economy has not worked. It simply has not worked. When you have this infection level, you will have a higher death toll because people are not coming forward to take the vaccine. And that is the stark reality we face. If this government took the 351,000 Pfizer vaccines in February, he would have saved lives. I mean, my brother who passed away, my great supporter and brother in my constituency, he was unvaccinated. He was unvaccinated. If you had a situation where people were vaccinated, at least 150,000 in February from that, less people would have died. And this government, they have presided over the death of persons by COVID because they failed to get vaccines in a timely manner, and they failed to procure what is called high-quality vaccines. So, I mean, as controversial as I may sound, anybody from Trinidad and Tobago, if you can afford it, you have the resources, go to the United States. You can walk in Walgreens and get the Pfizer vaccine tomorrow. You can walk in Walmart. You can go anywhere in any pharmacy and get vaccines. Don't wait for this government. Your life is at stake. And I make no apologies for saying anybody who could afford it, please go and get the vaccine.
Mr. Minister, I do want to thank you. I know you are present in the week, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight and sharing the information.
Thank you very much, and continue the very good work you have been doing. I've taken note of your program, and I know for sure that you have reached so many, many people. God bless you and the production staff, and continue the great work.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
So viewers, news for you tonight. You could have had 300 and something thousand Pfizer vaccine in February. So you see how news has come out now? That's what I tell you. Let me tell you something. All we bring to do is real talk, you know. That is all we bring to you. That is all. So hear this. Epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines have stated that it was too soon to begin discussing the possibilities of gathering of full vaccinated persons. Hines stated that it was too early to start looking at what gathering would look like in a full vaccinated group.
The first one, I think we're a little too early in the game to start looking at what gatherings will look like in a vaccinated group. In a population where we still have the vast majority of the population not yet vaccinated. We have about maybe 13% of the population overall that have full vaccination on board. We are working towards higher levels of coverage.
Now, viewers, he added that government is still working towards higher level of coverage and vaccination. Dr. Hines further noted that no gathering for vaccinated individual can be planned. He stated that this will depend on what happens in the future with respect to introducing or to the introduction of new variants and the behavior of the population as more persons become vaccinated.
So right now, it's going to be very difficult to try to plan a gathering or gatherings for vaccinated individuals. We're going to need to see a lot more of what happens in the near future with respect to introduction of new variants, with respect to behavior of the virus in the population when the population is better vaccinated, before we can start looking at whether to make changes or not. So it's still early days for that.
So viewers, private gatherings are currently limited to 5 people with expectations gatherings are up to 5 people with exceptions for funerals and weddings where up to 10 persons are allowed. So if you are in a funeral, you could be up to 10 people. If you are in a wedding, you can have up to 10 persons. So viewers, I love doing what I'm doing, you know. I love doing what I'm doing. That is why God is make sure He give me the health and the strength, the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge, and the bravery-ness to come here through criticism and do what I had to do. How many of you could take criticism? How many? Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Your program is really, very good, and I really enjoy every time I listen. This government is really makes a mess of this country. You can't take a vaccine when it can't go anywhere. I mean, you can't go away, but how long you can go away? 10 years? How long vaccine will? How long it will last? The government don't care about nobody, and we need to pray, and we need to do something. We need to act. We need to act in this country. Just like other countries where people are protesting, this country needs to get up and do something, or else it's too late.
Thank you, my friend. So if you are just a reminder, Real Talk Investment is offering to the public between 3% to 3.5% per annum. All I want you to do is that if you're looking for a great investment, something to get a higher earning on, a higher percentage from a financial institute, Real Talk Investment, contact our office, 238-6716 or 339-1670. We have rates from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, from 3% to 3.5%, viewers. Let me tell you something. Real Talk Investment is presently paying the highest return on your investment. As long as you invest at 6 digits, you could go straight up from 3.25 to 3.5%. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we're making it happen for you. So tomorrow, viewers, tomorrow, legally, I will be getting my constitution, my bylaws, I would say, that would govern Real Talk Credit Union right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a plus for us in Trinidad. Let me tell you something. Real Talk, group of companies, will be one of the biggest depositing institute in Trinidad and Tobago where you could get the best return on your fixed income. Presently, I am paying Real Talk group of company. Once you make an investment that they call Real Talk investment, you will get the highest percentage presently in Trinidad and Tobago than any other financial institute. I could guarantee you that. Because bank supervisors, managers, credit union supervisors and managers have been calling me, Saeed, how are you managing? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Almighty shall be covered under the shadows of the Almighty, that he will bring forth fruit in his season. I think I don't ask people to advertise on my program. I'm not begging. It's one individual I'm begging. And that is the Spirit of the Lord. Call a good night.
You know, Mr. Ali?
Go right ahead.
This vaccine, right?
Uh-huh.
It's how long it's going to last in your body? 3 to 5 years? Because remember to say, within 1 year, they're going to review it.
Well, I read in some international news. Let me tell you something. When I bring that to the forefront, well, I will be surprised. But go ahead.
Yeah, what I want to know is how long it's going to last, right? Because they say they're going to review it within 1 year. So if 20,000 people dead in Trinidad, that means they still have to review it because it's no good. How long it's going to last in your body? All right? Thank you.
Mo. Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, I can safely tell you on national television, let me tell you something, if you are a Trinidadian or if you're living outside of Trinidad and you want to make an investment in Real Talk Investment, Real Talk Group of Companies, feel free to contact me, 339-1670 or 238-6716. Call my office, set up an appointment and come. I will give you all the info that you need. And one thing I can guarantee you is that Real Talk Investment will give you the highest return presently in our country. In our country. I guarantee you that. Because I will tell you something. Just how I just do my research with this. Just how I do my research before I throw it out to you, the public. So here it is. In August, the first 200 individuals. Before I go further, I'll let know Real Talk is always be throwing out something for you, the population, to benefit. How many minutes we have there? 4 minutes. So I have enough to explain. The first 200 individuals that would invest a 6-digit amount, 6-digit meaning in the 100,000 line, for 3 years, the first 200 individuals to invest in a Real Talk investment for 3 years, let me tell you something, I guarantee you 3.5% return on your investment. It has to be a Real Talk investment. Once you sign up for that, I am guaranteeing you 3.5% as a return. Let me tell you something. When I stand here, I just stand here with faith, you know. I just stand here with faith, you know. How you think I get all them bills passed? You think by guess? No. And if I tell you our track record thus far is, when I tell you I am doing it, and you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and viewers out of Trinidad and Tobago, have known Saieed thus far, that when that man stand on his platform and he tell you he doing it, bet your last 1 cent you have in your pocket, it coming to pass. And you all have been witness of that. You all have been witness of that. So I'm throwing out this offer to you. The first 200 individuals, it's only last week I started talking about Real Talk investment. And I have had numerous investors thus far. Numerous. From doctors to lawyers to business people. Because they know I am real. They know I am not here on games. I am not here on games. I just spend over $1 million. Over $1 million per year. Without asking the public to contribute $5 to Real Talk production. And we have been on the air for 3.5 years with reports as the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago, and with reports of being the 3rd best news forecast in Trinidad and Tobago. And let me tell you something, if you think I lie, contact the general manager for Synergy Television and he will tell you. I don't come here and play games, you know. I don't ask for friends, you know. That is why I just always quote Moses. Moses was anointed. Moses was raised in Pharaoh's kingdom with all the riches. with all the riches, and God called him into the wilderness, fix him, and send him back to Pharaoh's kingdom, where he grew with all the riches and the opportunity and the authority to command. And what he did? He commanded people from Pharaoh's kingdom with the power of God and the strength of God into the wilderness, where God fed them for 40 years. Let's talk now. Let's talk now. Talk now. Let me tell you something. There's only one Saieed, and nobody does it like Saieed. Nobody. So viewers, we out of time? So viewers, we have about 2 minutes left. We have about two minutes left. So I want you all to contact me tomorrow. 339-1670. Or the same number that you are seeing on screen. Take down that number. Take down that number and call tomorrow. Call tomorrow. Tell them you want to set up a Real Talk investment. Tell them you want to Saieed. You want to talk to Saieed. Set up an appointment and come and see me. Come and see me. And get the max return of your investment right here in Trinidad and Tobago. I tell you, people going in credit union, they're going in banks and they take all their money. They take all their money. Me asking you, I'm telling you, I could call names. But I choose not to. I choose not to. So viewers, it's been a pleasure being here to share our program with you. Tonight being Turn It Up Tuesday. We are located in Caroni Savannah, 14 Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. We are about 3 minutes away from the police station. Feel free to come down and get the information. Let me tell you something. I want you all to have great returns. You want to set up a Real Talk investment for your kids? Feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. I will give you the best advice because I want the best for you. Why you think I here night after night bringing the truth and the whole truth to you? Why you think I am pushing for legislations and amendments and laws? Only to benefit me? No, not to benefit me. To benefit you. To benefit you. I do highlight. I just come here and I just demand it. And I just get it done. Because when you highlight my light. When you hear I light my light. Let me tell you something. Anywhere there is darkness and your light even a lighter, it is bright up the place. It is bright up the place. So viewers, it was my pleasure being here. I am Saieed Ali. You are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are live on Synergy Network from 7 to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. We also on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We also on YouTube, TT Real Talk. So my friends, until we meet again, be safe. COVID-19 is real. Sanitize. Secure your family. Only if you have to go somewhere, you can go. Allahumma saba'ulebe kaba'ila za'anta ramakuba alanta zilamato. God give wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to whom He chosen. And He created leaders when He handpicked them. So until we meet again, good night.